I love about game collecting is the breadth and width of my collection. From the PlayStation 1 to the PlayStation 5, common games to limited edition games, collector's editions to strategy guides. I will collect anything and everything.
Game Pickups! Building the games room! Road trips! Live game hunting! Oh yeah!
Again folks, so welcome back to another Game Pickups video. And this time we have a little bit of everything. From the retro to the modern, Facebook finds, eBay finds, even some items have been sent to me from viewers of the channel. I have a little bit of everything, and this is what I love about game collecting. If, like me, you love everything about game collecting, then please hit that like button and please subscribe, as I put new videos out every Saturday live at 5, as well as bonus content throughout the week like this video, and I really want you folks along for the ride. Now, let's get into these game pickups. We are starting off this episode with one of the best pieces of advice anyone ever gave me, and that is to tell all your friends, because as often as you go game hunting, you cannot be everywhere all the time. So if you tell your friends you collect games, when they're out hunting or just shopping in general, they will find stuff and let you know. And that's what I've done this time, and my friend Mark got in touch and picked up these awesome bits for me. So first off, we have this game Fracture for the Xbox 360. Not the most exciting Xbox 360 title, but for £2, I think now is the time to build that Xbox 360 library. This is quite a cool game. Essentially, you have a gun that can kind of raise the land, cause earthquakes, that kind of thing. It really got kind of overshadowed by a lot of, admittedly, much better first-person shooters when it first came out, but it's definitely worth checking out, as it is a little bit something different than your standard Call of Duty game. Secondly, you know I like a bit of an oddity, and I'm really happy that my friend picked this game up for me, Scream Ride. Yes, this is also on the Xbox One, but when you have these games cross-gen, sometimes it is the older game which becomes a lot rarer in the future. This is a bit of a weird game. Essentially, it's a roller coaster game with also knocking down buildings. It's really weird. It can be kind of annoying, but again, for £2, these are the kind of games you want to pick up now for your Xbox 360. My friend also knows I pick up strategy guides, and these are getting harder and harder to find in charity shops, but when you find them, normally they're fairly cheap. Like this one right here, Hitman Absolution, £2.50. I think these are essentially a dead media, and you know, they don't really make them like they used to, do they, children? They don't really make many strategy guides nowadays. Also, another thing in the same kind of area I love is art books. My friend also picked me up The Art of Mafia 3. I think this was also in the collector's edition of Mafia 3, which looks absolutely incredible. This was £3, but I just love these giant art books. I just think the art in these, it's just absolutely fantastic. But these are not the only art books I've picked up this time. Don't get me wrong, I know I'm very lucky to have a very understanding wife who lets me have a massive games room to store my basically absurd collection. And one thing which takes up a lot of space is these art books. And that is one of the reasons why I think sometimes these go on sale for very, very cheap. And one of the cheapest ways to buy these art books at the moment is to go on the Forbidden Planet website. That's because they have some absolute bargains. These Titan art books are some of my favourite art books on the market. These are each £5. First we have Rise of the Tomb Raider, the official art book. These are brand new and sealed, and remember, only £5 each. They are an absolute bargain. Not only that, I have the second Tomb Raider one, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, the official art book. If you know in the comments down below, did they do an art book for the original Tomb Raider? I mean, the original of the new trilogy of Tomb Raider. If I've got these two, I'd really like to get the third one and complete the trilogy of books. This one was a real surprise for me. It's not very often you'll hear the words Castlevania and cheap in the same sentence. That's right, the arse. We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please stand by for more incredible game pickups. Or should I say, the Art of Castlevania, Lords of Shadow. It is not very often you can pick up anything Castlevania based cheap, so when I saw this art book for just £5, I had to pick it up. And yes, I did say art book. Another close friend and also a fellow YouTuber, PS2 Many Games, will also keep an eye out for games for my collection when he is out hunting for PlayStation 2 games. That is because he is aiming to get the entire PAL PlayStation 2 collection. Yes, he is crazier than my crazy collection, and yes, when I'm out looking for games, I will also look for PlayStation 2 games that he is missing for his collection. It is very much a case of I scratch his back, he scratches mine, and this time he found me some awesome Sega boxed goodness from his local CX store, because when this stuff is this good condition, it does not stick around in CX for very long. First off, we have summer games for the Master System. And look at the condition of this. This is an absolutely incredible game. This is by no means a rare or expensive game, but if I open it up, you can see it is boxed and fully complete. And then we have this game, Populous 2 Tribes. This is the second Populous game, and a game which I never knew existed. And once again, this is boxed and complete and in absolutely beautiful condition. This is why it is good to have friends whose local CX store is different to yours, because these are the kind of games in this amazing condition that don't stick around the shelves very long. Facebook Marketplace always has and always will be one of my favourite ways to pick up games on the cheap. But the thing is, you have to be super quick, and when I saw this person list a little bundle of games, all £5 each, I knew I had to grab this one. Resident Evil 4 for the PlayStation 4. Yes, I know this game has recently been remade, but I managed to pick up this brand new copy of Resident Evil 4 for just £5. And if you don't know, the price on this one in CX is just getting more and more expensive. But that is not all. This means now I picked up this game for the PlayStation 4, I have every single Resident Evil game ever released for the PlayStation 4. Without a shadow of a doubt, one of my favourite modern consoles to collect for is the Nintendo Switch. I just love having the option to take games on the go, to play them in handheld mode, just to play them anywhere I like, even though I mainly do play it in docked mode. And one of the things I love about the Switch is finding the slightly more obscure games, the games which I think are going to be harder to find in the future. And this game is a game so good that I put it in my top 10 games of 2022. I pre-ordered this game the longest time ago. It is Prodeus, a game which I think is best on the Nintendo Switch. I think this is getting a very limited release. I think this is going to be one of those games that people are not giving the love to now, but in the future I reckon this one's going to get very expensive to pick up. It's just over 20 quid on Amazon at the moment. I definitely recommend you pick this up, especially if you love your retro first person shooters. Think Doom, think Quake, times by a million, and you have Prodeus. Whether you love it or hate it, you cannot deny Amazon does have some incredible flash deals, especially if you are a Prime member and can get these games sent to you for free. And I think this could be the best quality, cheapest Switch game I've ever picked up. Rico for the Switch for just $5.99. And this is somewhat of a rarity on the Switch, a first person shooter on the Switch. It may not be the greatest first-person shooter of all time, it may not change the world, but $5.99 for a brand new Switch game in 2023? Can't go wrong there. Sadly, recently I have all but quit buying from eBay. I just can never seem to get a good deal. I find a lot of the stuff overpriced and then, literally we normally refer to games as eBay pricing. And I'm just looking for other ways to add games to the collection. And one of my favourite apps to use to buy games at the moment is Vinted. I'm not buying too much on it at the moment, but when I saw a Mega CD game on there for an affordable price, I had to grab it. This game was just over £10 posted. It is Ground Zero Texas for the Mega CD. And this is in absolutely fantastic condition. Yes, it has a little bit of sticker up there, but some goo gone to get rid of this. It is in, if I could open it ever so gently, absolutely amazing condition. It has both discs and the manual. And Mega CD games, if you did not know, are incredibly hard to find. To be able to pick this one up for just over a tenner is an absolute bargain. Trust me, I'm shooting myself in the foot here, but do not sleep on Vinted. One thing which I never expected and never will expect when I started my YouTube channel was for viewers of the channel to send me items for my collection for free. But that's what a viewer did recently called John sent me this copy of WWF Attitude for the Sega Dreamcast for absolutely free, and this is somewhat of a rarity. At first it looks like a standard Dreamcast game, but what is this? Is it a promotional game? Is it a special edition? Well, it comes boxed complete with the manual, but when you take the manual out, it says behind there it is from Choices Video. That's right, this is of course a rental copy of the game. It is super cool that they did this with the full artwork and instruction manual as a rental. But even more cool is the fact that John knew I was a massive wrestling fan, a massive collector of wrestling games, and sent me this for free. Again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you very much. This final item right here was once again sent to me for free by a viewer of the channel who this time wants to remain anonymous. It is such an honour to have these things sent to me, and he literally said to me in the message he doesn't mind what I do with what's inside this box, and I'm going to share these with you today. Maybe even literally, but more than that after we jump into this box. I know what you're asking then, what's in the box? Let's jump straight in, and some of you I'm sure can guess straight away, it is of course PlayStation 1 games. And don't let these first games fool you, there's more in store than just FIFA. Let's jump into these PlayStation 1 games. I'm so thankful for these, and some of these will be making their way into my collection, but maybe some of these will be making their way into your collection. You'll have to stick around to the end of the video to find out what I mean by that. We're going to start off with some of the kind of low-end titles. So firstly we have Football Manager 2001. Not really a massive fan of these management games. We also have FIFA 2002. Yes, FIFA was on the PlayStation 1 still for FIFA 2002 and also FIFA 2000. Now this is a bit of a problem. Do I keep the FIFA games in my collection or use the boxes for games more worthy of the boxes? As a bit of a completionist, I am tempted to keep these in my collection, but let me know what you do in the comments down below. Next up we have one of my favourite wrestling games of all time, SmackDown. This was so much faster than any wrestling game had ever been before, and is an absolute must-have, especially as a wrestling fan, in my PS1 collection. Next up we have one of the weirdest PlayStation 1 games, Spice World. I'm sure most of you played the demo of this one back in the day, but let me know if you ever bought the full game of this one. It is a weird rhythm-based dance game that is a real oddity on the PS1. Finally we have V-Rally Championships on the PlayStation 1 again. This was a game I played more on the N64 back in the day, but let me know, did you prefer V-Rally or Colin McRae Rally? If you've been watching the channel for a while, you will know I'm going for the complete PlayStation Platinum collection. 160 PAL released PlayStation Platinum 1 games, and we have two games here. They are Die Hard Trilogy, an absolutely fantastic edition, boxed and complete, and also possibly the greatest RPG of all time, Final Fantasy VII, again boxed and complete. But here is one of the issues. I already have both of these games in my collection already, so what to do? Again, stick around to the end. Next up we have some games I'm super happy to add into my collection, as these are some games I really wanted for my PlayStation collection. First off we have Ready to Rumble Boxing Round 2. Now Ready to Rumble is one of my favourite boxing games of all time. It's not really a sport I'm a massive fan of, but I just love the kind of characters in this. I think it's a really fun boxing game. Next up we have an extreme sports game, perhaps one of the very first extreme sports games ever released, Cool Borders. I think we all once again played this one back on the PlayStation 1, be it the full game or the demo, and yeah, an absolute classic must-have for the PlayStation. And I'm a massive fan of the Tony Hawk's games, I'm a massive fan of extreme sports games, especially skating games, but I've never played MTV skateboarding. Let me know in the comments down below if you've played this one. I'm hoping it has a soundtrack which is anywhere near as good as the Tony Hawk's games. Final PS1 game we have here is an absolute arcade classic. It is Ridge Racer in the big box format. One of the best racing games Namco ever put out, and an absolute staple of the PS1. And these big box games are getting harder and harder to find. I'm super happy to add this to my increasingly growing PS1 collection. Like I said, that was the final PS1 game. In that box as well was this demo of Ico, an absolutely iconic game from the PlayStation 2. This is super cool, and these are the kind of weird oddities I love to have in the collection. These kind of money can't buy items that are surely going to disappear to history if not kept in collections like mine. So an absolutely amazing collection of PS1 games there, but I have got some doubles. These are the doubles, and you're probably asking, Dan, what are you going to do your doubles? Well, I'm not just going to trade these into CX. Again, as I said at the start of the video, the person did say to me, I can do with these what I'd like to do. So I like to throw it back to the community. I am looking for PlayStation Platinum games. I'm over halfway through my PlayStation Platinum project to get all 160 games, but I need your help. If you have any Platinum PlayStation 1 games you are willing to trade for one or multiple of these games, let me know in the comments down below. Let's make a deal. Let's show the retro gaming community works. There we have it then, folks. That is another game pickups video, and it just goes to show it is all about working together, be it with friends, the community, anyone. It's a lot easier when we work together rather than against each other. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, hit that like button, subscribe, and as always, keep playing the game. See you all soon.